So this is 2x2 structural steel on the main frame. The lift tubes, like Mike was saying, are stainless steel on this mill, the H360. So you don't have to worry so much about them rusting. But you still have to worry about, a lot of guys get a 52 and they'll use it and then put it away for 3 or 4 months. And if you use it a lot, these things here will get sawdust and dirt build up in them. So just wipe it down and clean it up when you're done. I recommend that all the time. So it's just a maintenance thing. But I oil my cables up because mine sits out all winter. So that helps protect your cables and just gives them longevity. This has the blade set on it. This mill also has the stop for the up and down. You see the switch? Here's your down switch. Here's your up switch. So this one here hits on this bracket. And that stops the head so you can't go over too high and break a cable or something. That head weighs about 1,300 pounds. So there it stopped, okay? Hit this switch here. This one here will trigger on the bottom. If it hits the bottom, it'll stop just like it did here. That's how I check it. Some people, well, when I saw with mine, I always keep the guide right out here. I don't try to keep it tight to the wood. For the main reason is a lot of your big logs got weird configurations, and sometimes you get involved in sawing with the log and looking at the beauty of the wood. And I've done it myself, forgot to put the guide in. So now as a rule of thumb, I just keep it kind of right away from the wood. It doesn't hurt it to run that wide at all. That blade will take that tension like that all the time. You want to sell it specific for slabbing or just knocking down big logs so you can get them onto a smaller mill. And these are the 1 and 15, 16 bearings as well, pillow blocks. So beefed up the mill a little bit and it works great. Longevity, like I say, is good. Kind of keep it like that. And I mean, you saw with this all day and a pile of big logs, you can make a lot of money. So it's worth its weight in gold for the right production to produce that piece of wood. Because nowheres that I know of can you go to Lowe's, Home Depot, and find a piece that's over 30 inches wide. And you're lucky in any places to find anything over 10 or 12 inches wide. So this is a very unique mill for that purpose. And okay, it runs pretty much like any of our other mills. They're all identical, or like Oscar's. We got the lift bale system on it. So that's why we can put the blade set on it. You got your scale stick, the same as the other mills. Graduated inches, 5/4 or 4/4, 5/4, 6 and 8/4 as well. So it's all there just like the rest of the Oscars.
Do you mind explaining what the options would be on this particular model?
A lot of people like to go up the horsepower. You need to, obviously, because you're up here in the mountains. Now that I understand that, the loss of power you're getting. This got the 37 EFI on it. Nice choice. It's all in what you're seeing too. Different woods on this mill have different reactions. We'll make a cut. Like I say, dry first, then we'll put some water on it, see if there's any difference in the cuts. That's what I want to demonstrate, okay? Reverse. Now this power feed doesn't come back fast on this mill. That's for a reason. You don't need high speed on this mill. People say, well, why don't you have fast reverse? Well, you got fast reverse, you got guys running around with planks. A lot of times with this mill, you're gonna have 3 or 4 guys around it. So slow is okay. You don't want to get knocked over by it and then the mill run down there and burn up your motor or something. So and what I did there was set that blade on that log, that pre-cut, and I drug it off the log to make sure that the log hasn't had any tension in it sitting here in the sun. So that looked pretty good there. Good. So we're going to do 2-inch slabs. Well, let's see, 16. And again, with this mill, go down past your point and back up, just like any other mill. Right there. Throttle up. Jog your motor down, just let it run and work. You don't want to hog it. Just because it's a bigger mill and a bigger blade doesn't mean that it can go faster. See the tension pulling out of that log right there? That's okay because it's going this way, it's not going this way. Pardon?
Yeah, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah. And see, it's cutting good and smooth.
Just up there, a little up there, not bad.
No. That's really perfect for tabletopping. That's dry wood.
Yes,
Very dry.
very dry.
So now, pardon? Yeah.
The question came up, what impact on blade life would we have with running dry?
Not much. Not much at all.
Unless you're getting hot, right?
Yeah, unless you're getting heat.
Keeping it cool.
That's why I said it's better pulling this way than going this way. But no, your blade was gonna last just about the same way. Yep. Okay, we'll try it with a wet cut.
At least 15.
Another thing I'd like y'all to know is you saw these big logs or any of your logs like they're sitting around for a year or two, take a cookie off the end of the chainsaw because a lot of dirt fills in the end. And you hit that initial cut, knocks the corners off your teeth. You get that fresh wood, you don't get that.
It looks better now. Thanks, brother.
Shit, okay, let's see what our cut looks like. Want to grab the end, Brian?
Tipping it up this way?
Yep. Now, if you want to see what your wood looks like after it's finished, let me shut this off. An easy way to tell is put some water on it. You'll see the beauty come out of the wood like it would when you put the varnish to it. I usually pull my line right off of here. Huh? If you got somebody you're custom cutting for, you can show them this. Spread your water out. That's what that's going to look like when you put a clear varnish on it. That's the beauty of the wood right there. Like I said, you can see with the water on it,
That's how I understand.
you can see the difference in texture of the cut right here. See that? That wood, that sawdust was swelling as it came through there because of the water.
Do you care? So what about taking that and putting water in the whole thing? Does that end up impacting this wood at all?
No.
No, absolutely not. Nope.
You,
Cutting my Cutting my table.
I gotta slow it up again when I hit that second piece coming into it. You don't want to bump into it hard. Now that I'm into it, I can speed up a little bit. That's hard wood, it's cutting hard. And we're at the widest point in the log too. So
when they're both going up to Washington, Oregon, they're gonna put this in that. Oh, running like quick, sorry.
see, there's a lot of tension in that. That's what's causing our roughness in here. That
what,
log
John?
is actually moving during the cut. Ready? Yep. Flip it right up. Let's look at it. What I'm doing is comparing this side to this side. So if y'all want to come around this side and look, the grooves are a little deeper here.
That's what I like about
That's because this log was coming up.
sawmills and stuff.
How much did that go down?
Bring it back.
Bring it back up for me, Brian.
It drops. Because we left the height the same this time.
Yeah, right there. See?
Yeah. Because you didn't
Quarter
lift it
inch.
this time at all.
Is it camera?
So you had a quarter there and an eighth at the other end. So there's the tension showing. So if we took the slab off the other side, that's going to go, whoop, it's going to come back. It's all knowing how to work the wood too.